Yo, we are back with another Should You Pull video. Today we're going to be talking about the highly anticipated Lucy rerun. As always, we'll talk about Lucy's pros and cons, and then we'll talk about who I think should or should not pull for her. Disclaimer as always, you should pull for who you like because it will make the game overall more enjoyable. Let's talk about Lucy for a second. For the newer players, just very quickly, some information about Lucy. She was released on the first anniversary last year and has held on to the spot of a top DPS for a long time, especially when it came to AoE content. She also benefited from the later releases of Mercuria, Anchanala, Flutterpage, and Fatutu. In my opinion, she only started to feel phased out when we were introduced to Recoleta and Impromptu with Olive's release because they were the next tier of power creep. But 2 to 3 patches later, here we are with Lucy's Euphoria, and now she is back on top. Alright, let's start with her pros. Obviously, her damage in Dynamo team is insane, and she makes Dynamo one of the best teams in the game right now. She continues to destroy AoE content, and even when she cannot get extra actions when she kills an enemy, she still does huge amounts of single target damage thanks to her electric field and her Dynamo teammates Ulrich, Corone, and Ezra. The actual biggest pro and most unique thing about Lucy is her ultimate. When she ulties, she goes into a state called Pragmatus, where all of her attacks are considered to be of the stronger afflatus. This, in my opinion, is what makes Lucy stand out amongst the rest of the characters. This allows her to always have the extra bonus damage from the type advantage, which of course is nice, but it's even more apparent when you factor in the conditions and reveries. If you haven't already noticed, as you go down reveries in the rain, there is a condition that increases the further you go down. That is this condition right here where it says stronger afflatus damage plus 10%. And if you're attacking with non-stronger afflatus damage, the enemy actually gains damage reduction against those attacks. However, this scales. So as you go down each 100M floors to 200M, 300M, 400M, it continues to scale all the way up to you doing plus 40% stronger afflatus damage and the enemy is gaining plus 20 damage reduction against non-afflatus damage types. And as you may have guessed it, in 500M in CN, this number has increased to plus 50% for stronger afflatus damage and plus 25% damage reduction against non-stronger afflatus damage. The game really incentivizes you to have a team of every corresponding afflatus, and the fact that Lucy's ultimate makes all of her attacks count as the stronger afflatus damage, she will always benefit from that bonus damage and not be penalized from the plus 25 damage reduction when the enemy gets against non-stronger afflatus damage. That is why she is so good, especially for newer players who may not have a team of every afflatus type. Say you are missing a strong base afflatus team on a stage, you could just slot in Lucy Dynamo team. That Dynamo team with Lucy can be your flexible option for whichever afflatus you are lacking in. This part of Lucy's kit is why I feel Corvus, who is coming to CN soon and rumored to be a DPS for the Dynamo team, is probably not going to be better than Lucy unless she has insane multipliers or she also gets some or the same effect that allows her to do stronger afflatus damage. I'm recording this video before release or before any of her kit releases, so we don't really know what Corvus does, so I'm not going to talk too much about her. So if you're worried that Corvus might be better, then you can wait it out until we get further information with her official release next week. On to Lucy's cons, and there's honestly not that much. Yes, she is built for AoE scenarios where she can eliminate multiple enemies and fire off multiple follow-up attacks. She may struggle just a little bit if it's just a single target, but she does so much damage at this point in the game, it's not too noticeable just yet. Another con is that not really about Lucy per se, but the Dynamo team and the electric field, because that electric field does take some time to ramp up if you have played already. You know what I'm talking about. She really needs Corone to shorten that ramp up time to only 2 turns, meaning with Corone, you can get electric field 3 on turn 3. Instead of right now with just Lucy and Ulrich, it takes about 4, 5, 6 turns, really depends on your card RNG and all that stuff. The other small concern is the fact that she now does have a Euphoria. Yes, I know we have seen characters get multiple Euphorias, but those characters, to be honest, were characters who struggled with their first Euphoria and likely why they got a second one so fast. Lucy is not struggling at all, so it's hard to say when or if she will ever get a second Euphoria, meaning she might be at this level of power for the foreseeable future. What I'm trying to say is if Nautika and Lucy are seen as two of the best teams right now, but we know Nautika will get a Euphoria in a year, that may push Nautika even further than Lucy in the future, and Lucy again may or may not get a second Euphoria to catch up. Like I said again, we just don't know, but the fact that she already has a Euphoria makes it less likely she'll be getting one soon unless she's struggling. Alright, on to who I think should pull. If you are a newer player, absolutely try to get yourself the first copy of Nautika first, because you could potentially lose the 50-50 to Lucy on Nautika's banner. Then you should go and try to get Lucy. The reason why is because you already have one of Lucy's best teammates in Ulrich that everyone gets for free. It's actually pretty easy to build the Dynamo team for you. You just have to pull Lucy and then pull Corone next patch, add in your free Ulrich, and then slap on any sustain you have, and you're pretty much good. It does not have to be Ezra. The core three are Lucy, Corone, and Ulrich. So you technically only have to pull 2 characters. Versus Nautika's team, if you are starting from scratch, you have to pull Nautika, you have to pull Simowise, you have to pull Robuska, and potentially Sentinel. And I say potentially because she's the one where you can kind of substitute in a different support. But the other 3, Nautika, Simowise, Robuska, they're locks for the blood type team. But if you are going for the premium blood type team, then that's the 4 characters you have to pull versus the 2/3 characters in Dynamo if you want to include Ezra as well. As for veteran players, I still think Lucy is a really good pickup for you if you do not have her. If you are someone who cares about clearing Reverie's 500 to 1000 M when it comes out to global in 2 patches, you will want to have yourself a Lucy and the Dynamo team for sure. And finally, just some yapping about the upcoming banners, and if you do choose to do the route that I did for my 1 month CN free to play where I pull for both Nautika and the Dynamo team and want to build both teams, in the upcoming patches it is going to be very, very expensive. Okay, you're gonna want to pull for Sentinel, you're gonna want to pull for Corone, so that's back to back patches where you're just going to be constantly pulling for characters. And then when Robuska comes out in 3.1, then you're going to have to pull for her. And that's why I really kind of hope that Corvus is not going to replace Lucy. I honestly was kind of scared that she was going to be a Dynamo sustain, which she still could potentially be. And if that's the case, then that is going to be really the premium Dynamo team, the premium blood type team, all back to back, which is going to be super expensive for free-to-play players or players who spent too much on the AC collab. One last thing to note, in CN 3.2 is going to be the next patch, and that is looking to be the halfway patch. So if you didn't know, that's when they release another true limited character usually, and if that's the case, that true limited character is probably going to be very special. So if you're doing the blood type and the Dynamo team starting in 2.8, you're going to be pulling in 2.8, 3.0, 3.1, 3.2 if you want those really good units. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit rough going forward here. Alright, that's going to be my thoughts on the Lucy rerun. Hope you guys found it helpful or enjoyable. Good luck to your pulls if you're pulling, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.